set on Israel's days of freedom. For 20 years, King Jabin of Canaan ruled with an iron fist from his fortress in Hazor. His army commander, Sisera, was a man whose name alone struck fear into the hearts of men. His chariots of iron, 900 in total, rolled through the land, crushing anyone who dared resist. The Israelites were not merely ruled, they were enslaved. Crops were taken before they could be harvested. Daughters were snatched away, and the roads were no longer safe for travel. Bandits roamed freely, and the once proud people of God had become silent, their spirits crushed beneath the weight of tyranny. But not all had surrendered to despair. Beneath a tall palm tree, standing like a lone sentinel in the hills of Ephraim, sat a woman unlike any other. Her name was Deborah. She was no warrior, nor was she born into royalty. She was a wife to Lapidoth, a quiet man who worked the land. But God had set her apart. A voice whispered to her in the stillness of night, words not her own, filling her soul with a fire that could not be quenched. And so she became a judge, a prophetess, a leader. From morning until night, people came to her for wisdom. She settled disputes, resolved conflicts, and most of all, reminded the people that God had not forgotten them. Yet, even as she spoke words of hope, Deborah knew Israel did not need only wisdom. They needed a sword. One morning, as Deborah prayed beneath her palm, a vision came upon her. It was not like other times when the Lord spoke gently. No, this was a command, a divine order. A name rang in her ears, Barak. Deborah rose swiftly, wrapping her shawl around her shoulders. With determined steps, she sent for him. Hours later, a tall man approached. His shoulders were broad, his hands scarred from battles long past. Barak, son of Abinoam, was a warrior of Naphtali, known for his bravery, yet now he looked wary. He bowed slightly before speaking. "You summoned me, prophetess?" Deborah's eyes locked onto his, steady and unwavering. "The Lord, the God of Israel, commands you. Gather 10,000 men from Naphtali and Zebulun. Lead them to Mount Tabor. There, God himself will deliver Sisera and his army into your hands." A long silence stretched between them. Barak's jaw tightened. He knew of Sisera's strength. He had seen villages burned, men slaughtered, and women stolen away. Israel had no iron chariots, no great weapons, only the memory of a time when they were free. "If you go with me, I will go," Barak said at last. "But if you do not go with me, I will not go." Deborah studied him. Was it fear, or was it something deeper? "I will go," she said. "But because of this, the honor of victory will not be yours. The Lord will deliver Sisera into the hands of a woman." Barak said nothing. He only nodded and left to gather his men. Far from Mount Tabor, deep in the fortress of Harosheth, Sisera sat in his war tent, a goblet of dark wine in his hand. A soldier rushed in, breathless. "My lord, the Israelites have gathered for war. A woman leads them." Sisera laughed, a low, cruel sound. "A woman?" he repeated. "Is this what Israel has come to?" He stood, his heavy cloak sweeping behind him. "Gather the chariots. Let them tremble at the sight of our iron." For weeks, messengers spread through the land, calling warriors from Naphtali and Zebulun. Men left their fields, their families, their homes. Not all came willingly. Some doubted, others were afraid. But as they arrived at Mount Tabor, something stirred among them. They saw Deborah, standing beside Barak, unafraid. They heard her voice, strong and clear, speaking of God's promise. Hope flickered in their eyes, like embers in a dying fire. Yet even as they prepared, the news came. Sisera knew of their gathering. From the plains of Harosheth, his army was coming. Hundreds of chariots, thousands of warriors. The ground trembled beneath their approach. Fear spread like a disease. Some wanted to flee. How could they fight against iron? Deborah stood before them and lifted her voice. Rise up, O Israel, the Lord goes before us. The chariots of men are nothing before the God of heaven. And then the heavens rumbled. At Deborah's command, the Israelites charged. From Mount Tabor, they descended like a mighty wave, meeting Sisera's forces near the Kishon River. Then suddenly the sky opened. Rain poured down in torrents. The Kishon River swelled, its banks overflowing. Sisera's great iron chariots, the very symbol of his strength, became his downfall. The ground, once firm, turned to mud. Wheels stuck. Horses panicked. Soldiers drowned in the chaos. Israel's warriors struck with newfound fury. Their swords clashed, their voices rose in battle cries. Sisera's army fell one by one, until none remained, none, except Sisera himself. Seeing his defeat, he leaped from his chariot and fled on foot. Sweat dripped from Sisera's brow as he ran. He had never fled before, but now his army lay in ruins, and death followed close behind. He stumbled upon a small tent belonging to Heber the Kenite, a man at peace with King Jabin. There, standing in the entrance, was Jael, Heber's wife. She was a woman of keen eyes and silent strength. Her husband may have been loyal to Jabin, but her heart was with Israel. Come, my lord, she said, voice calm. Rest here. Do not be afraid. He entered, breathing heavily. Jael moved with practiced ease. She brought him warm milk, tucking a blanket around him. Stand at the door, he murmured, his voice thick with exhaustion. If anyone asks, tell them I am not here. Jael watched as his breathing slowed. Her heart pounded. This was her moment. She reached for the tent peg and hammer beside her. One strike, two, and then silence. Sisera, the mighty commander of Canaan, was dead. When Barak arrived at Jael's tent, she met him with a knowing gaze. Come, and I will show you the man you seek. And there he lay, the mighty Sisera, slain not by a warrior, but by the hands of a woman. The war was over. Victory belonged to the Lord. Soon after, King Jabin's reign collapsed, and Israel was free once more. To celebrate, Deborah and Barak sang a song. Awake, awake, Deborah. Awake, awake, break out in song. O princes of Israel, ride on. The earth trembled, the heavens poured, the stars fought from their courses. Blessed is Jael, most blessed of women. For 40 years the land had peace. And so, the name of Deborah, the prophetess, the leader, the mother of Israel, was written into history forever.
Thank you for watching. Kindly like, comment, and subscribe. Click on the notification bell so you can be alerted anytime a new video is uploaded. And please, don't forget, share and be a blessing to someone. God richly bless you. Shalom.